Airlink has now confirmed its court application for an urgent interdict and order to prevent South African Airways from using or even disclosing its confidential commercial information. The documents were allegedly taken unlawfully by a former executive manager before leaving Airlink for SAA. Let's bring in aviation analyst Phuthego Mojapele for more. A very good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time, Phuthego. Airlink is not taking this matter lying down. They clearly want to come to the bottom of it. What is the legal basis? What is at the center of this matter insofar as these documents are concerned?
Yeah, the matter here between SAA and Airlink is about the employee who went to SAA coming out of the Airlink. And what the court papers are saying here is that Mr. Silva, during the time when she was with the Airlink, she then got the information, confidential information, and important information, which is commercial information, and share it with the staff that she is leading at South African Airways. Now, within that context, the Airlink feels like the SAA it's now being given advantage on the important information of commercial that that Airlink owns and unlawfully. And this was not just something that they, on the papers, they say it was just done because, it is an employee who's now moving into a new employment. What they are also saying is that they did their own investigation. They hired the private investigator who really clearly shows that the information was illegally transferred while Mr. Silva was still in employment of the Airlink. Now, the matter was then communicated before it could get to where it is now, which is now before the courts. And that communication was never been entertained by the CEO of the South African Airways.
On the other hand, it's also reported that SAA itself was allegedly taking legal action against its former pricing analyst for allegedly stealing confidential historical fare data, including fare construction and benchmarking information. With these two incidents, what does this now tell us about the sort of conduct when it comes to the level of professionalism and competition in the aviation industry?
Well, the crux of the matter here is competition. It's airlines are fighting for the space of dominance. They're fighting for customers. They're fighting for everything that would see them getting more volumes of revenue coming in their way. Now, in this case, this specific one of Airlink versus SAA, it was quite clear here that when employees leaving employment of another company, it is important that you revisit your contractual agreement, employment contractual agreement, as to where else and how you can make sure that you don't breach that contract. But if it comes to issues that are affecting the matter of customers, and for example, on the papers that were filed before the court, there's incidents where it demonstrates that there was attempt from the Airlink to talk to those customers that were loyal to Airlink. SAA was talking to them. The information was then forwarded to the court to prove their case. And here it's clear professionalism that if you are a professional, there are things that you really need to reserve because it belongs to another business and therefore it cannot be shared. And also, if you look at the issue of the information, the POPIA Act that we also have in the country. There are information, important, significant information of other individuals that have been transferred and been shared with third parties without a consent. And there, I think there is a bridge, and I think Airlink, they've got a leg to stand over there.
Still talking about the aviation climate, so to speak, we know there have been warnings against the Public Enterprises Minister Pravin Gordhan around using public funds to launch a legal battle against a Parliament Portfolio Committee overseeing his department. Of course, at the centre of the matter, alleged attempts to damage SAA prospects. What is your take on this matter?
I do believe that Minister Gordhan has brought this to himself. All these issues that are turning out and trying to block, all the information that was supposed to be before the Portfolio Committee of Public Enterprise in Parliament, and also suggesting that for the committee to entertain Mr. Tlakudi's claims, he's going to go to court and challenge them. I think he's bringing all this to himself. And rather than him allowing the process, if the committee feels that they want to, they want SIU to investigate and do whatever they want to do, I think he should just keep quiet and allow the process to unfold without trying to block. Once you start trying to block, you're bringing too much clouds on top of your head unnecessarily. But for the SAA doesn't really require to be on the news at this stage. I think it needs more positive news, more than it could get at the moment, especially with regards to small things like being dragged to courts and so on. I think it needs more good PR, it needs more support for it to be able to survive, because the climate at the moment it's really not good for it to be dragged into things like this. And they're doing quite well, to be honest with you, particularly around this Easter time. They've seen quite significant amount of growth on the passenger volumes that they've been transporting around the Easter period. And I do believe that the more positives that could come out of SAA, the more it would be doing what it have just done during the Easter period.